One of my great pleasures as dean is meeting extraordinary designers and architects and connecting them with my colleagues and students. Our special guest today is Klehr Avia, who will be speaking to our graduates about being patient, mastering complexity, knowing how to work on a team, learning about the worlds of others, and enjoying the creative process. Ms. Klehr certainly has mastered her subject. She is a regional managing principal at Gensler, a global design firm with 43 offices across the Americas, Asia, Europe, and the Middle East. Today, she is chair of the board at Gensler, the firm ranked #1 in both architectural and interior design revenues in the United States. From her office overlooking Rockefeller Center in New York City, she has guided award-winning projects for some of the largest and most respected international corporations, including the interior architecture for the New York Times headquarters in New York City. Presently, she is principal in charge of the 1.2 million square foot headquarters of Condé Nast at One World Trade Center in New York City. I'm proud to say that Ms. Klehr is an alumna of the College of Architecture and Design. In 2012, for her leadership in the professions of architecture and design, she was the recipient of one of the University of Tennessee's most highly regarded honors, the Alumni Professional Achievement Award. Please join me in welcoming Klehr Avia.
Thank you, Dean Poole, for that introduction. It's a pleasure to return to my alma mater and share this memorable and magnificent day with all of you. I congratulate the class of 2013. You all should be very proud of what you have achieved. I want to congratulate as well your parents, your siblings, grandparents, spouses, partners, and friends who have been with you from the very beginning of this journey. They no doubt see this moment as a wonderful dream come true, as well as they should. Your graduation today brings back fond memories of a member of my own family, my Aunt Ronnie, who had suggested that I go to art school when I was in my teens because she thought I had talent. Aunt Ronnie is now in her 80s and still could not be prouder of me. After I received my degree, she even afforded me the previously unheard of honor of letting me choose what color linoleum she would install in her kitchen. Whatever honors I've received over the past 35 years, I have to say that still might be my proudest achievement. Your friends and relatives will no doubt soon be asking you for advice if they haven't already, but you'll be also making far more significant architectural and design decisions. In fact, I predict an impressive career for every graduate here, and I feel very safe in making that prediction. Degrees in architecture and interior design come with a very rigorous 24/7 course load, and you have succeeded in as competitive an environment as you'll find anywhere. But I predict great things for another reason as well. All of you will be doing something that you love to do. That's why people choose careers in architecture and design. It's what they love. It's what gets them going in the morning and what keeps them inspired and energized throughout the day. So all of you will have that same satisfaction, and your parents will have the satisfaction of knowing that they enabled you to get a great education in a profession that you will love. You are about to enter a field where what you can achieve is limited only by the talent you have and the willingness and the effort you invest in applying that talent. I speak from personal experience. I arrived in Knoxville in the early 70s with just 2 bags I brought from my home in Verona, New Jersey. I remember my first few hours on campus. I would describe my mood as 1 part enthusiasm, 1 part anxiety, and 1 part, what am I doing here? In fact, all that newness turned out to be rather exhilarating. My generation had the enthusiasm, exuberance, and arrogance that comes with being young, also with knowing that we were going to change the world, remember it was the 70s, as it's never been changed before. That sounds a little familiar? As time passed, this bravado faded away, mercifully, and was replaced by the need to meet some incredible academic demands. Courses and design studies were tough, really, really tough. When I came to the University of Tennessee, I majored in interior design. Our tools of the trade included T-squares, triangles, pencils, and paper. Those were all draftsman tools. But by the time my class graduated, we had acquired a new set of tools, a new approach to problem solving, and a whole new nomenclature to go with it. And though adapting to change can be tough, believe me, it's always worth the effort. So what was it that inspired my classmates and me to tough it out and get that degree? Sure, we loved what we were doing, but I also think we realized at some level that we were doing more than simply learning about something we loved. I work at an architectural firm called Gensler, and every day, 200 million people work in, travel through, shop at, or otherwise experience Gensler's work around the world, work that may still be seen and used 100 years from now. I recently visited the site of a project we are designing in China, the Shanghai Tower, which is currently under construction. When completed, this will be the tallest building in Asia and the 2nd tallest building in the world behind the Burj Dubai. John Ruskin, the leading English architect of the Victorian era, said, "When we build, let us build forever." And 200 years before that, renowned English architect Christopher Wren said, "Architecture aims at eternity." But besides my love of design and the prospect of achieving a kind of immortality through my work, there's another kind of satisfaction I derive from working in this field, and I suspect all of you will experience it as well. You never stop learning. For some of you today may mark the end of your formal education, but whether you know it or not, another phase of your education, a really exciting phase, is about to begin. No, I'm not talking about learning the ropes, learning how things get done in your corner of the universe. You know, the kind of on-the-job training that happens in every profession. Sure, that's going to happen, but that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about learning more than you ever thought possible about fields outside your own, learning someone else's ropes, learning about how a bank or a hotel or an airport operates, and what issues a church or a museum faces in dealing with the public, and what's required in a business workplace for one type of industry as opposed to another. Gensler had its origins in commercial interiors. Today, however, we are a leader in areas as diverse as retail, aviation, sports stadiums, brand strategy, graphic design, hospitality, tall towers, and education and mission-critical facilities. You see, architecture and interior design don't happen in a vacuum. They grow out of the needs of real businesses and real institutions. To be good at what you do, you need to have a pretty good handle on what they do, they being your clients. Because you're graduating from this school, you know what's involved in the learning process and how it relates to architecture and design. When you're out there in the real world, you'll have the opportunity to apply that knowledge. Only sometimes you'll be applying it in settings that may be entirely new to you. A lot of work, sure. A little scary, perhaps. Boring, never. In my more than 35 years working in design, I cannot ever remember being bored, not for a day, not even for an hour. After all these years, I still learn something new every single day. I learned a lot about design here at the University of Tennessee, but when Gensler did the interior architecture for the New York Times Company new headquarters in Manhattan, I learned an enormous amount about the news media business, how newspapers were published, and how frequently its websites were updated. In fact, I got so deep into the woods on that project that I became intimately familiar with the New York Times long-term strategy and the impact it had on their day-to-day operations. I'm presently receiving a similar education about the media industry in my role as principal in charge on the Condé Nast headquarters at One World, the building being constructed on the former site of the Twin Towers. And I'm also learning about the retail industry through my involvement with the flagship store for El Palacio de Hierro in Mexico City. In case you think my experience is unique, that growing up in the teeming metropolis of Verona, New Jersey, gave me a more global outlook that predisposed me to learning about all these other businesses, I want to tell you about some other people who have learned about other industries and institutions while they distinguish themselves in architecture and design. I'm proud to say I recruited some of them and am so proud of their outstanding achievements. But remember, in every case, it all began right here at the University of Tennessee, just as it has begun for you. Darius James is a 1999 University of Tennessee graduate from Lake City, Tennessee. A designer with an architectural background, he has been with Gensler for 13 years. Darius has worked in our offices in Amsterdam, London, and New York. His work with global clients has given him a unique perspective on design in a variety of industries, including education, aviation, retail, and the corporate workplace. This year, he was named one of Engineering News-Record's top 20 under 40-year-old professionals in the design and construction industry, a UT graduate from Lake City, Tennessee. Christian Lindell Mayer is a 2003 UT graduate from Knoxville and has been a designer in our Charlotte office for 9 years. Kristen works on many of our law firm and corporate headquarters projects. And as for that common refrain about not being able to have it all, you know, having to choose between family and career, well, apparently someone forgot to tell that to Kristen, who in addition to her project work, just completed her tenure as president, including in addition to her project work that she's doing for Gensler, she just completed her tenure as president for the Carolina chapter of the International Interior Design Association, which I know makes her 22-month-old daughter very proud. There are other outstanding people at Gensler who got their start in the School of Architecture right here in Tennessee, just as Brent Mather, he's a 1994 graduate from Germantown, Tennessee, who served as design director of our Denver office. In 2009, Brent won the AIA Colorado Young Architect of the Year Award, and in 2010, he received the Denver Daily Business Journal Award for top 40 under 40 years old in the architecture and design business. Amanda Posh, a 2009 graduate from Nashville, who is designing the Condé Nast magazine floors, which include Vogue, Glamour, Vanity Fair, Architectural Digest, GQ, and The New Yorker. How cool is that? And then there's Rob Jernigan. He's a 1979 graduate from Atlanta, one of the leading technical architects in the Southwest, a world-class professional, my partner, and a fellow board member at Gensler. He runs our LA office and has grown our practice into the largest in Southern California. His projects include LA Live in downtown Los Angeles and the 2000 Avenue of the Stars building. Elizabeth Norman, a 1992 graduate from Clemson, South Carolina, an architect who has managed numerous mega projects, including the recently completed 1.7 million square foot interiors for the Bank of America at Bryant Park in Manhattan. And then David Epstein. David is a 1982 graduate from Greenville, Tennessee, an award-winning architectural designer and a partner in our Austin, Texas office. He is acknowledged as one of the leading design talents of his generation. Why am I telling you about these people? Simply because they've built fabulous careers on talent, education, and dedication to the work they love. Talent, education, and dedication. You have that too, and if they can do it, so can you. I know with the portfolio I was carrying several decades ago, I couldn't possibly compete with you in today's market. If we were both applying right now at Gensler, they wouldn't hire me. I wouldn't hire me. The world of architecture and design is rapidly changing, and you are ideally equipped to compete in that world and to make a difference in the world. I would like to finish by sharing with you a few bits of wisdom that you might not already know, and if you do know them, it won't hurt to hear them again. They're the kind of things people generally learn on the job, although knowing them beforehand can make your job a lot easier. First, as Dean Poole also mentioned, patience is indeed a virtue. Don't try to rewrite the history of architecture and design your first week on the job. It's human nature to aspire to that, and it certainly goes with the territory if you're in this field. But professional progress is not an overnight process. Take it slow, keep learning everything you can, keep building your foundation on the exceptional amount of knowledge you already have as a result of studying at this institution. As Brahms famously counseled a young musician who complained bitterly about the delays in publishing his first opus, you can afford not to be immortal for a few more weeks. Second, succeeding in architecture and interior design in the 21st century requires that you master complexity. Gone are the days when architects and designers needed only to keep a CEO or a very small group of senior executives happy. Today, we have many more clients to please, including employees, the local community, visitors, and customers. We now think more holistically about every project. When we prepare a design for a new office building, we need to focus on shared resources, livability and connectivity, sustainability, and ultimately lifestyle. Working in this field means learning about our client's business, its employees, its daily rhythms, its markets, its customers, new technologies, and long-term aspirations. Nothing less is required to do the job right. Third, successful architecture and interior design in 2013 must be a team effort. How we define a superior architect or designer is rapidly changing to include the ability to work well with different groups of people. At Gensler, we always say that we don't have star architects, but instead we provide our clients with a constellation of stars. Of course, working on a team is not without its challenges. You need enough of an ego to present your ideas with great confidence, but you also need to keep that ego in check so that you can consider everyone else's ideas with an open mind. And the last bit of wisdom I'd like to share with you: never forget today on your graduation day that what we all do is being creative. We're designers, and that means we approach the world in a very unique way, different from lawyers or investment bankers or economists. Creativity is not a luxury for us. It's at our core, and it's what drives us. Watch the people you admire and learn from them. Creativity comes with many things. One is with the interplay of ideas from different sources. Eventually, you will develop your own style, your own methodology for creation. Every successful architect and interior designer has a process that works for them to generate a dependable, steady stream of ideas. Being patient, learning complexity, knowing how to work on a team, understanding your creative process. Collectively, these attributes will provide you with an opportunity to do spectacular things. For today, though, be happy to celebrate what you have already accomplished. Through intelligence, courage, and perseverance, you have made it to the summit of a mountain that was no easy climb. Other exciting challenges await you. Before tackling them, before embarking on your real-world education, I hope you take a moment to enjoy the breathtaking view. Let it inspire you. It is the first of many to come, and I look forward to facing them together with you as fellow professionals. Best wishes to all of you, and thank you for letting me share this wonderful day with you.